These Jackalopes from the Reaper Miniatures Savage Worlds line are the first project where I decided to choose a color palette and lighting solely based on a photograph taken from the Arizona desert at dusk. With a clear picture on what the terrain will need to look like, I start with building up a rocky uneven base by gluing a few layers of uneven quartz and applying AK Interactive's Volcanic Earth texture paste. I then pull out my Army Painter's Battlefield basing kit and press in some small foam rocks into the still wet texture paste, as well as gluing on a couple of larger foam rocks and plants. I also take a few pieces from some various warm tree shrubs that I collected over the years and add these as well, before gluing down the two Jackalopes. I was a little disappointed that there were just a pair of the exact same casting, but having one turn slightly as well as being elevated helps to hide that fact. With the texture paste fully dry, I head out to my shop to prime using an airbrush with a ruddy brown, before hitting it with a zenithal of mustard yellow, which I somehow managed to not record, and then finally a very minor zenithal of a light tan. These airbrush steps were actually done before I found that picture of the desert to base my colors on, and in all honesty, with how I use the speed paints and oils later, I imagine I could have just primed everything in white and moved on. Once back at my desk, I hit everything with speed paints, then with speed paint medium, all of which were done so at 1:1 ratios. I start with what will be the shadow side using pink, blue, and purple. With these thinned down, they'll gently tint the miniature. I place the pink higher up, the blue will act as my midtone, and the purple as the darker shadows. These tones will go on what I'll call the front of the miniature, as I pictured they had the sun to their backs. These speed paints I add everywhere, to the rocks, earth, foliage, and the Jackalopes themselves, but remembering only to apply this to the front, almost as if it were a light source. I then repeat the same idea on the back of the miniature, though with much brighter sunnier tones, with yellow as my lightest color, orange as the midtone, and a red as the shadow. I did leave some of the higher areas untouched, as I pretty quickly realized the sand golem I used for my yellow tone was giving me the effect I wanted, but I needed a little more punch of vibrancy to act as the last grasps of that dying sun. So I add some maize yellow, also thin 1:1 with speed paint medium, and I slap this on to act as my brightest tone, making sure not to lose that lovely muted sand golem already in place. At this point, I consider the base coating done, and I won't be deviating too far from the colors already in place. The rest of the work can be summed up by adding some quick shadows, some highlights, and then a tiny bit more of shadow while simultaneously smoothing out some of the transitions, and then painting the eyes and the rim of the base. By the time I finish the last brush stroke of speed paints, I have put less than 1 hour of effort since opening the blister pack. With the speed paints fully dry, I next mix some oil washes, a purple and blue to add to the front or shadowy side of the miniature, a brown for the sunny side, and a green for the foliage and randomly on the earth. The black was added to darken the green, as the viridian was too bright for what I wanted. Once the oil was dry, or mostly dry, I come back with some cotton swabs and gently buffed at the miniature, removing the oils from the upraised areas. I then came back with another cotton swab, lightly moistened in mineral spirits, and when I say lightly, I made sure to press it against the back of my thumbnail firmly, and if any ran free, it still had too much in it. The second cleanup run was a lot more gentler and focused more on the upraised areas and places where light would reach the easiest. After which I spent a few minutes picking away cotton fibers with my fingers and with tweezers as needed. This I would have to do multiple times throughout the time spent on this project, as I would continually find cotton bits as I went along. For the highlights on the front, or shadowy side, I kept it extremely simple. A bunch of pastel, or nearly pastel paints that were a little more vibrant than the speed paint tones I used. I painted some hatching lines of light pink over the pink areas of the fur, blue over the blue, and purple over the purple. The green was used to add some touches of highlights to the foliage. I also used all of the same colors to highlight bits of the earth as well, though more sparingly, as I wanted the Jackalopes to not blend in too much. For the highlights on the back, or the sunny side, I followed the same pattern, highlighting over light colors that were already there. The yellow highlight was applied a little differently. This I thinned to a glaze and spread over a larger surface area to help blend in the last glow of that fading sunlight. And I can say that even though the speed paint step was what really set the feel and foundations of how everything looks, this highlight step really took it further as far as making it look more of like a finished product. I decided to do one final application of oil on the shadowy side as some of the transitions, particularly with the blue tones, felt rough in comparison to the sunny side. For this I just painted in some undiluted purple oil paint to push the shadows, and then with the soft flat brush I gently buffed at it, trying to pull the paint a little over into the blue and pink regions to blend everything together. The highlights and oil stages added just over an hour and a half of effort. Very close to being finished, I press on and black out the eye sockets before painting the molded spheres on the eyes with the same red acrylic already on my palette. And then I add a small glint of pink, also a color already on my palette. After less than 3 hours of working time in total, spread out over several days, I black out the base and I call it done. Having chosen my colors and how I would approach the shadows and lights based on a desert dusk backdrop, and considering how little effort and time I put into the project, I'm very happy with how it came out. Even with my horrific Photoshop skills, I feel these jackalopes look right at home, blending in with the terrain so that passing humans and coyotes might not see the jackalopes before they pounce on them, rending their flesh to pulp meat for these voracious predators to feast upon. I have a lot of large projects I want to do that involve box sets of 10 to 20 miniatures apiece, and I think I've settled on an approach much like what I did here and with what I did in the last video for the GW Dark Oath Marauder. That will be what I use for speed painting bigger projects going forward. For lessons learned, I don't really have too much to complain about. There are some bad mold lines going down their backs, but those only really show at specific angles, so it's not too bad. Beyond that, I don't have any real complaints for once. I can always have done more, refining here and there, but for what I intended, this is more than satisfactory. And that'll bring this video to its end. I hope you learned something or inspired to start or expand your own collection of carnivorous horned cottontail leapers that, once they catch a whiff of your scent, will hunt you and your entire bloodline. Should you somehow manage to evade them, know that it's only the briefest of respites, for they do not forget. They hold grudges, and they do not need to rest. They will stalk you, they will find you, and they will eat your feet. If you have any questions, feel free to ask, and if you like the content of this video and would like to see more, you can easily support the channel by liking, commenting, sharing, and subscribing. I'm Jim with Working with Miniatures. I'm truly grateful for your time, and I bid you a fond farewell. Until the next video.